Hello there, this is Dr. Dell, and this is going to be a video about questions that I'm being asked. And there's several questions that I'm being asked, and I want to begin to answer them. This will be one of the questions I'm going to answer in this video. I'm going to share the screen, and this is the first question. These are questions that on a PDF I've got here about 21st century math education. If you're interested in math education, whether you're a student or a teacher or a parent or know someone that is, you might find this interesting. Here's the first question. How has math education evolved with modern tools like scientific calculators and Wolfram Alpha? And why do you believe traditional methods are no longer sufficient for 21st century math education? Well, I'll tell you this much. I wrote a book recently called How and Why Public School Math is Destroying the USA. And by public school math, I mean the standard math curriculum being taught today by virtually all of our public schools. And I wrote a book about it. You can get a free PDF copy at my personal website, craighane.com/book. Now, let me answer this in this video just in some words. Math consists of two things, concepts and tools. You take the concepts and you apply it to all sorts of things in life, or you could just think of them abstractly as math concepts, and then you have to have tools to apply the concepts to solve problems. Now, our ancestors developed a lot of wonderful manual tools. For example, first of all, they created a number system, the decimal number system, that makes it easy to deal with numbers. If you think it's easy to deal with numbers, try the Roman numeral system. It's very difficult. The decimal system makes it very easy. Now, you learn, for example, manually how to take two large numbers and multiply them and get an answer. And that's fine and dandy. That's wonderful. But it's hard to learn the algorithms. Addition is not too difficult. Multiplication is harder. Division is more difficult. Extracting a square root is even more difficult. There's tools for all of that. But they're difficult to learn. They're error prone. It's very easy to make mistakes. And they're very time consuming. So some people get good at it and learn it pretty well, but you got to do a lot of practice, a lot of effort. Now, you take a modern calculator. We use the TI-30XA, which is about a $10 calculator. It's a wonderful calculator. And you can simply go in and very quickly compute anything arithmetically. And so that makes learning practical math, and I'll talk about that more in some other questions down the line, much easier. Now, in addition to that, you then have to do a lot of other things with math concepts like graphing functions and doing all sorts of things with them. And then you finally get into calculus where you've got to analyze them and graph them. You've got to find area under the curve. A lot of manual tools were developed to do that. Again, even more difficult than their arithmetic tools. Very difficult. A magnificent tool was introduced to the world called Wolfram Alpha. And this makes the mathematics you have to do for science and engineering much, much easier than it was with the manual tools. In fact, some of the old manual tools were a difficulty level of 8 or 9 on a scale of 10, and now Wolfram Alpha takes it down to a 1 or a 2. So today, a student, first of all, can learn practical math, and I'll talk about that more in another question that was asked. Very quick and easy, and I'll answer that in another question, how that could be done with a scientific calculator. And then students that want to go on into science and engineering can use Wolfram Alpha and go into it very quickly. And I'll talk more about that on some other videos. In the meantime, I would invite you to go to my website, craighane.com/book. I'll click on it for if you happen to watch the video, and that will give you a free PDF copy of my book about how and why public school math is destroying the USA. And by the way, I point out it's not the math teachers' fault. They're victims too. The math teachers and the schools are victims of this whole math education system that's evolved over the 20th century. And it was good up until these modern tools came along. And then they supplanted the old manual tools, and that makes learning math much, much easier. So learning math today, the old manual way is something about 90% of the students either can't do or won't do. And with the modern tools, 90% of them can do it, and most of them want to do it. And so I urge you to, by all means, get a copy of this book and read it. This is what it looks like, Public School Math Destroying USA. You can get on Amazon, by the way, a printed copy for less than $5 or my free PDF copy. So this is Dr. Dell Craig Hain. I'll see you on the next question. I hope you learn a lot from it. And most important of all, I hope that you give any child or any student you have a good math education that's now very easy to do, as you're going to learn as I answer some of the other questions.